North Holland Highgate. Oh, good. It's heavy. Thank you. That's a brilliant suggestion. Why do you think I should go to the V&A you suggested?
Yeah.
I was telling you about Fred Richman's body of work. Yeah. Right, what bits do you think they would be interested in?
Oh, I think they'll be in all of it because, as you said, he's a designer and an artist.
Yes.
So it covers two bits, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think they would be interested in his whole career?
Well, I think
they
would do because.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because it is a very interesting story.
Yeah.
A guy out the Bronx.
Yeah.
You know, who's worked his way up through the design business. He does sound like a very, very interesting man.
Take a chance and I'll meet you halfway. Sun is out so a cloud can't spoil your day. Please yourself and you'll be pleasing me. We're feeling good cause it's rare to feel this free. I thought that you had something real to say. Thought that this would start to go my way, but you stole my day. You stole my day. Done as much as anyone can do. Life's too short for chasing after you. Thought that we had something going on. I'd like to tell you, but the moment's gone. 'Cause you stole my day. You stole my day.
So Fred, tell everyone about T-shirt of the day. What's your T-shirt?
My T-shirt is the subway system in central Manhattan. And yours is some smart-ass thing about, I know better than you anyway.
It is indeed. Oh. This is... Fred. This is... Where are we? Where is this?
This is my studio.
Thank you.
In the back of my garage.
Thank you.
Back that way.
Not in the back of your garage.
All right.
Say garage.
Garage. Garage.
Garage.
Garage.
Let us go into your garage.
Okay.
Come
That's
on.
where it is.
Okay.
A friend of mine had some cypress trees and he gave me a piece of log like this. After you strip the bark away, it's nothing but fresh whitish wood like this. Not finished like this, but this color. In the core of the log is a red cylindrical shape, which is in essence the core of the cypress tree. When I carved away the white outside wood, I saw there was this cylinder which is 4.5 inches of redwood. So I let it stand for a while, and one day I realized that this figure, which is ceramic, and it made to look like it's metallic, is about the same dimension as this piece of wood. So I did, instead of doing a cubist type plain structure of the body, I figured I might do a different version, which is more adaptable to the wood, and make it and finish it like a wood piece. So this is finished as a wood piece, and when in the raw wood, it's a redder part than this white. It is not stained. It's only wax. This wax and this wax is the same wax. So when I finished this wood, I wondered what to do with all the white wood on the outside, and I didn't want to waste it. So I thought I would make it like it's a veil that she is undoing and hanging from the back of her shoulders and her hair. This was a technique I never used before or since it was a long pose and you went a couple times a week for a month where the pose lasted. You did a superstructure of wire because you ended up pounding the clay onto the wire structure. Then you started molding it, and then you had a finished clay piece, but it was mass plastiline, so it doesn't last. So I had it cast in a one-time cast in plaster. So that was only done 3 times. That one, this female, and that male.
Yeah.
So I just did that for that time and that place. Oh, the other thing, here's an illustration of what I decided to do to bypass the whole casting business. If I'm going to do a metal superstructure, I can, instead of doing it in clay, I can slap it right onto plaster. So that's why this seated figure is so much less detailed than these, because I was slapping plaster onto a metallic superstructure, which is just a thin wire thing. And I left it in that condition because that's the way it was done. And I wanted to leave it roughly, deliberately that way, because that's what it was.
But now this sculpture here,
Yeah.
I'm particularly interested in. You told me that you sold that, right? Yes. So will you have produced this work in the early 90s?
That's made since I've met you, Fred, like 96, 97.
The reason why that's fascinating to me, I thought, oh, he must have done this maybe, you know, in the 30s and 40s. But you are telling me that you got interested in this in the 1990s.
Let me put it this way. It was a pose, and I did the pose.
Yes.
The fact that it was a pose of such daring is what makes you look a second time. And the title I give it emphasizes what you're thinking.
It's called I Am Woman, isn't it?
Yes.
And I thought, that looks like a classical sculpture, or, you know, neoclassical. I thought, I've never seen anything like that, right? Because there's a dissonance between the fact that it's a classical sculpture and then there's the pose.
It was done in the context of women's liberation. It becomes a political statement.
It leads me on to stuff I was going to ask you about Charlie Perfume, because I would love to read you some of the press around when they were launching this product of Charlie, right?
Yeah.
Because it was all about the new modern liberated woman. I was interested to hear what you at that time in the early 70s were thinking about women and women's liberation, as you would call it. Like now we would say feminism. Yeah, we would say feminism now, right? I know now that you were thinking about it in the 1990s. 20 years before, in the 1970s, you were involved in doing the product design for Charlie Perfume.
I was involved in the point of sale objects, the point of sale statements that were put on the counter.
I'm reading you a research paper now. Charles Revlon's last new major product, introduced in 1973, exemplified the intersection of changes in society and in the perfume industry. It broke with industry traditions in its name, packaging, positioning, advertising and timing. Charlie succeeded at becoming the first American fragrance to achieve the status of an international bestseller. As a designer, you were required to think about this message of the modern, liberated woman. You were having to think, I have to create something that's going to appeal to that kind of buyer. This sculpture, which you produced in the 1990s, now I see that as somebody who respected women.
Was only the end product of a process that had already existed for, 2 decades.
So my question was, in the 70s, you had to capture this message. Did you believe in that message yourself as a man?
Oh, absolutely.
I thought maybe you're just a brilliant designer who can absorb a design brief.
Politically, I am what's called a liberal,
Right.
a left-winger.
Yeah.
I believe in equal opportunity for gays. I believe in equal opportunity for women. I believe in equal opportunity for black. So I already believed that. I believed that when I was a teenager. But I know in America, it's still a sexist tradition. Inherited that, and we're still working on it. And the black people know that, and they know they have allies, but they know there's another side.
Yeah, you're talking about racists, and you're talking about you were opposed to racism and sexism back in the 70s.
Long before that.
Long before that, right?
My father was a union guy, and he belonged to left-wing organizations, and the tradition was black and white, unite and fight. This was in the 20s and 30s. If that model didn't take that pose,
Yeah,
this discussion would never have happened.
exactly. We've run out of things to talk about, haven't we?
Oh, we have to say things?
Well,
Oh, is this going to be recorded in time as well? And
we are recording now.
oh,
Try and say,
all right. Say
try and
something.
try and say something interesting.
Say something very important right now.
No, you go first.
All right. All right. Shirley's going to be the author of a very creative film, which will make waves in the world of entertainment, and it'll probably help me along too. Who knows? By the time I'm 100, people will have heard of me.
It will shake the art world.
It will shake the art world. Wow.
To its foundations. That's possibly a bit of an exaggeration.
Well, that's a good goal, shaking the art world. If you get
But
a little
it's not
less,
going to be.
maybe you just sort of pat him on the head a little instead of shaking him. That's good.
Yeah. Or pay him. That's what you want.
Oh, that's right.
Show him the money. Show us the money.
Oh, you must be half American.
I did a good job of looking like an American today, didn't I? With my cap on.
Yes, you did.
What did you say to me? I said I look like an American, and you said. Do you remember what you said?
No.
You said, "Yeah, just don't open your mouth." And do you remember what I said?
What?
I said that's impossible.
Two very appropriate comments. One deserves the other. Okay, so we have decided that we want to call the film FEIVEL, which is your Jewish name.
Yeah.
Right. You told me that your parents were liberal, so unorthodox Jews. Is that right? I mean, they didn't practice.
Right. They all grew up, if there were
if there were Jews who grew up in Eastern Europe, they automatically had uh, a religious education, because part of just part of the culture is that little boys, not girls, they come later. Little boys are immediately at the age of 4 or 5 sent to the rabbi to study and learn how to read Hebrew.
Yeah. So your parents, were they Jewish immigrants to America?
Yes, they were immigrants.
When did they come?
They came in the early 1920s, uh, just before the American Congress established finally a quota system, which up until then everybody came in.
Mm.
Immigrants came in ad hoc all over the place without limitation. The whole culture of Yiddish, which is only 1,000 years old, because these were European Jews and not Israeli Jews. So my parents observed the modern version. They, by tradition, they didn't mix. My mother never mixed meat and dairy products on the table.
Yeah.
Not because she was religious,
Mhm.
but because it was tradition.
So were you called FEIVEL at home by
Yes.
your parents?
Well, yes.
Okay. So.
Oh, they never call. Oh, sometimes my mother called me Freddie, and with a Freddie, with a
Yeah.
Yiddish accent. But mostly they called me Five.
Does your Jewish background, does it mean a lot to you? Could you explain if it influences you or has made you a particular character?
I tell you the two extremes.
Mm.
On my first job in Philadelphia, and I met a girl in Philadelphia. I was there for a year and a half. I was only there for a year and a half because of the following. We fell madly in love with each other. She was a beautiful, lovely, sweet girl. She came from the Appalachia people, the mountain people, who were one of the earliest settlers in America. And she went to a local university that particularly addressed people of that region. And she was living with her sister, who was married to a Jewish man. Anyway, after a couple of months, I thought it looked like this was it. At any rate, so here we were, and it was time. So we went to the park one day, and I thought I would take a picture. I brought her picture home, and my mother got extremely emotional. My father did in his own way. This is a girl I'm going out with. Is she Jewish? No. Get on the phone, call her up, tell her, forget about it. And if you don't do it, I'm going to go kill myself.
What, your mother said
My
that?
mother. To follow that up, a short time later, she wrote me a long letter in Yiddish, which she never did.
Yeah.
The only thing she wrote was postcards, have a good day and stuff like that. A long letter in Yiddish telling me how it would betray my culture or whatever it is. At any rate, it was a no-no. And I took her seriously. I was in my middle 20s.
Yeah.
And she said, in all seriousness, my mother was not a serious person. She sang all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So she was not the type to write a long, sad letter about that. But she had her own history. So I took my mother very seriously.
Yeah, and
that she would kill herself.
Oh dear.
And I called up on her. I don't know what words I used, but I told her, and I stopped seeing her because I took the situation literally. And at some point I couldn't resist. I just had to call. I was still in Philadelphia. I had to call her, and she came over. And by that time, I had been very depressed by the situation. I had moved to a miserable little apartment, and that's where she came.
So this is very heartbreaking then, isn't it?
Oh yes. At any rate, she left and said, "You don't love me." And I knew that I did, but I was too mortified by tell her, but my mommy said no.
Yeah.
I was too mortified to tell her that.
Yeah.
At any rate, I left Philadelphia in complete depression, and to punish my mother and my father, I lived with them. Never went out, never dated, sat home, watched television, got fat, until about the age of 30. My best years. But at some point, 2 years after my living there, my mother realized what was happening, and she said, "Go back and find her." And I would have said, if she understood, I would have said, "F you, Mom." At any rate, at 30, I moved out and tried to start a new life. I had an apartment, and I found an apartment in the middle of Manhattan and freelance from there, minimally. So the first 20 years of my career were minimal life. The last 20 years with Revlon and Isotoner were magnificent.
That is the story. Right, and action. What did you say to me when we just walked in? What did you point at?
I said, this is where the wall is that we talked about.
Yeah,
The
point to
cosmetic
it.
wall. Pardon?
Point to it for the viewers. There it
down.
is. What did you actually say to me when we walked in though? You said,
I don't remember what I said.
I'll tell you, you said, I invented that.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Yes, I guess I did.
I think you did as well. I'm going to ask you a bit about the fact that you spent 40 years not doing your true calling to be a sculptor, right? And because you told me that at some point you left an institution and you were advised.
It was the teacher who discovered me.
Was she the one that you were going to show me that picture that she praised when you were 12, 13?
Yes.
That's the same teacher.
It's a simple line drawing, and that's that was the first couple of weeks I was there. The idea was, she said, I'm going to pose, doesn't matter who pose, I'm going to pose in a gesture, and in a couple of short lines, capture my pose. And apparently I was head and shoulders, because she even marked it. She's actually the one, she must have followed me through the whole years, because she ended up being my sculpture instructor in my senior year. This is now toward the end of World War II. What are you going to do after you graduate? I said, I want to be a sculptor. I want to sculpt. And she said very kindly, you know, we just went through a depression, and the poorest people, or worse to that effect, were artists. She said, I suggest maybe you do something like industrial design, and that's what I ended up doing. One episode in my career for Revlon, when a design I dreamt up because it was obvious to me what had to be done. This was 1970. The things that the industry didn't have at the time was giving the public any idea of how many colors, what their merchandise consisted of. Self-selection. They already do self-selection in supermarkets, in clothing stores. If women had a chance to try on colors, it would be a playground. They would love it. They would buy it night and day. That was my philosophy. So I developed and kept developing, and I made bigger and bigger sketches. And one day, a woman buyer, came in, and she was in some vice president's office, and she saw one of my sketches and said, I want that in one of my stores.
And what were you sketching?
I was sketching the idea. It turned out to be a tower of eyeshadow, a tower of nail enamel, a tower of lipstick, and with the tower there would be a console with a mirror of testing.
Are you saying that you invented the idea of the tester? Playing
I made a big thing out of it. Maybe I did. It was for department stores.
Yeah.
Because I thought in terms of elegance, even though I'm now taking the product out from under the showcase and putting it on the floor so you can choose whatever you want. At any rate, it got built and put into a major department store in Champaign, Illinois, which is an enormous university town. The towers, I had towers standing around in a circle.
Yeah.
The towers, the products flew so fast they couldn't keep up with it. They couldn't believe sales went up 60%, and it was a raging success. After that, at the end of the year, there was a stockholders meeting, and the CEO had me put up the tower, and he said, "This is our new posture, and this is what happened, how wonderful it is." At that time, I tried out something that was used in other products, gravity feed.
So you proposed the idea of the thing where you go in and you pull out a lipstick and another one drops down.
Right. And then they ordered $5 million worth of these towers. They started going up all over the country. It became the posture of popular brand cosmetics going against the wall, which they are today. The final sketch was I had a tower of product, and instead of 5 towers of the product, I had one tower of product with Revlon, and then I drew other sections just with hanging cards, just to give an impression. And on top, it didn't say Revlon, it said cosmetics. Mm-hmm. And they said, this is it. This sells product, and we're now going to put it. We're going to get out of the princess department stores.
Why did they get out of the department stores? Where did they go?
They went to that wall in drugstores. It wasn't just Revlon that quit department stores.
Yeah.
It changed the entire position of an entire industry.
It was making it more popular and more accessible.
More accessible.
To the modern woman. Indeed. You're a revolution. One-man revolution. And those of us that wear cheaper cosmetics are forever grateful to you.
It's not my medium. I just happen to do them at a time when it hit me. This was at the end of the war, when the few miserable survivors of the Holocaust were going to the only hopeful space in the world, which was Israel at the time. And this is when they're hopefully looking at the land they're going to save their lives. This is in the New York Botanical Garden, which is near where I live. There's a river there, and this was one of the first, if not the first, tobacco plants in America. It was right on the Bronx River. And this was how it originally looked when it was still built 200 years ago. And I sat on the opposite part of the river to paint it.
How old will you have been when you did these pictures?
High school age. This is what Mrs. Toms let me do. This was from the window of the school where I was at, and I just sat at the window and did this from the oil paint she gave me. I had no idea what to do with it, but apparently the paint got on the surface.
So this, you said this was what Mrs. Toms let you do. So Mrs. Toms was your art teacher at a grade school.
Right.
So we are looking at a picture that you did before you went to high school.
Right, just before. So it would be 39, 40,
So you will have been about...
13.
Wow, look at this.
After the war, there were race riots in America,
Yep.
which means that the underprivileged decided to go for what we were fighting for, a little freedom, and it had to do with living conditions.
Yeah, and were you ever involved in any of that?
No, but apparently I was seriously affected by them, or else I wouldn't have done this,
Yes.
right?
Something like that. Yeah.
And
so,
that's it for oil painting.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there was one, a bridge,
Yeah.
the painting of a bridge. It happened to fit a frame, so we stuck it in the front.
Yeah, where is that in the house? I haven't seen that.
Down in the basement.
Now you tell me. I didn't even know you had the basement. Yeah. We will be looking at all of those as well.
So you can, I hope you can feel that this arm is holding on to the,
Yes.
this
Holding
is
on
what,
to the-
45, right.
Yeah, 1945
Yeah.
you were doing these.
Well, I didn't realize I did heads too.
Look at that. That's really good, isn't it? And this discipline of trying to draw quickly,
Yeah.
you're a big advocate of that, aren't you? In terms of
Well, she
skill,
she
yeah.
taught me that that's what I was good at, so I pursued what she said I was good at. Who knows, I may have been good at something else which I never pursued. I have no idea.
Who are we talking about now? We're talking about your teacher.
The high school teacher.
Yeah, and can you remember her name?
No.
Oh, shame. Mrs. Toms gets a mention
Yeah.
in grade school,
Oh, here's
which
a-
was before, but we can't remember the name of this fantastic teacher at
Yeah.
high school
Yeah.
who was very influential, wasn't she?
Yes, she
in your
certainly
life?
was. And I have, if you want to see the drawing that you're interested in,
Yes,
I
I
can show you
do.
right now.
Well, let's look at some more of these and then
Okay.
show me, yeah?
Because these are the fruit of that.
That encouragement.
Yeah.
And they are so good. They're so good. You do have an appreciation after all these years when you look at them. You understand that they're good too, don't you?
Well, I admired what I did as a kid on the subway. How do you keep 2 hours on the train one way from getting yourself bored? So,
And if you were doing these, if you were doing these drawings today,
yeah.
you're right. It wouldn't be people reading newspapers, would it? It would be people on their mobile phones.
That's right. But newspapers is all we had in those days. April 27th.
1945.
Yeah. Apparently this was just in April. Oh, here's May. Well, this doesn't look like a subway pose, but I guess it must have been. She was just
Yeah.
leaning against something. Anyway, let's go to the other end, which is more subway. Tell me when you're tired of doing this.
I'm not tired of doing it. I just think that they're words fail me. You know, I don't want to say. I don't want to. You know.
There's a kind of different,
Yeah.
unique that you don't see.
Yeah.
Actually, Brooklyn College was the last stop on that subway line.
So, in 1945, you were at Brooklyn College where you were not doing art, you were doing the other subjects, but you used to draw on the way there.
That's what I did on the way back and on the way there.
And on the way there.
These are drawings with a pen.
Yeah.
Bullshit on Barker Avenue. Oh, that means these are three of my old buddies just standing around chatting.
What, have you given it a title?
Yes,
Oh,
it's
BS.
called Bullshit on Barker Avenue.
BS on Barker.
Yeah. And that was in May of '45.
The guy's talking.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this is what we mean, don't we? A line that just suggests something. So you've got the slouch there.
Yeah.
You've conveyed that slightly slouchy, relaxed way that he's standing, as well as the fabric of whatever he's wearing.
Yeah.
In what essentially is a squiggle.
Yeah, I know.
Excellent. Excellent way to put it.
That's my bit of art criticism for you. Amazing.
Okay, this is marked charcoal from Tech. Oh, so these were like the sketch I gave you of the mothers and children and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There apparently were projects where you had to create a situation.
I've got a feeling you're about to blow my mind. Yes, you are.
Oh, let me load me pipe and fill the place with smoke.
Okay.
And if you can stand that, welcome.
Yes, no problem. I will passively smoke from your pipe. Have you been smoking more since I got here?
No, smoking less. There wasn't enough time to light up the pipe. Lighting up a pipe is a whole number.
Oh, that's a whole art form in itself, is it?
Well, I wouldn't call it art, but
It's a craft.
It's methodology.
All artists have those orange pencils, don't they? Is that a pencil you're using there?
They're mass produced. Every school kid has these. They sell them by the dozen.
Oh. Did you hear me when I was telling Marion about how I find it difficult to see in low light? You know that, don't you? Because I keep switching all your lights on.
Yeah, and she thrives on low light for some reason.
Right. And did you hear me tell Marion about the time when I was at my friend's house and we were eating like a buffet style dinner? Do you know what is that an English word, buffet? Do you know what a buffet?
What's it called?
Buffet. So food, lots of little bits of food spread out on the table.
Yeah.
My friend had prepared.
Yeah.
And it was really lovely. But she is also an artist, right?
Yeah.
So she has lots of pencils like the one you've got, okay? Yeah. And I was there eating there with friends, but it was low light. She had candles and stuff. And she had, by mistake, she left a little pencil on the table. So it was very short pencil because she'd sharpened it and over time. And it was a short pencil. And you stole my punchline. I dipped it in the hummus. I dipped it in the hummus and I took a bite out of it. And everybody laughed at me like you're laughing now. I love that. That's amazing. Fantastic. Look at that hair. That's brilliant. These are brilliant.
Brilliant is something I don't know.
You don't agree with that they're brilliant? And this is work from Carnegie Tech days?
Yes.
Yes. That's a still life.
That's why I framed it, because it was the best of the lot. I recognize this kid. He's probably, if he's still alive, he's 98 years old.
Oh.
But I recognize this kid, one of my students, one of my fellow students.
What was his name?
I don't remember.
But you remember him?
Oh yeah, I remember the face.
Great picture. Great picture.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good because every good documentary has a scene where you're talking to someone when they're driving along. I don't know why that is, but a lot of documentaries have that for some reason.
Well, when they're talking to somebody while they're driving along, and they take their eyes off the road, that convinces me that I can't believe what's going on.
In the world.
Yeah. No, in the situation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there's a car.
Yes.
And if there's a car on this road, we just wait until it leaves.
Yes, indeed.
Because there's a 25-mile speed limit, and they can go double that speed sometimes. Okay, we're off.
Okay.
Hammonasset State Park, a 2-mile-long, beautiful beach. Hammonasset is an Indian name.
And that is where you met Marion.
That is the place.
How many years ago?
27 years ago.
27 years ago.
I'm glad the sun is out.
So am I. So in England, when you're of a mature age,
Yeah.
you have to take a test each year to check that you're still okay to drive, I think.
Oh,
Is it the same here?
excellent? No, it's not. It's not a bad idea.
Okay, so should I be feeling nervous right now?
We headed out on a sunny sand dune. A blade of light cuts the cold afternoon. We're feeling free, 'cause no one needs us here. I realize I've been missing the sea. Lying low in the estuary. I think you feel the same way. It's pretty clear. Waited patiently to be here with you. A message in a bottle won't do. So in years to come, we'll know that we were blessed by our time spent way out west.
Fred can tell the story, but I was just out walking and I just decided just to sit down for a rest on a log very much like this. But this
Very
is
much like
old.
this
And
log.
I was still fresh out of the big city, and I'm enjoying the fact that this is when I have a few minutes from home.
Yes.
Then he said in this horrible accent, "I'm going to sit here." Right?
So were you sitting? You were sitting on your own, Marion.
I was just sitting here,
Right.
enjoying the sight, hoping people would walk by.
And Fred said,
And,
"I'm going to sit here."
Yeah, and don't forget, there were people around constantly.
Yeah.
And you tell them that.
Were you thinking to yourself when you said, "I'm going to sit here"? Were you thinking to yourself at that point, "There's an attractive woman. I'm going to chat to her or not"?
It didn't exactly. I didn't exactly know the fact that there was a nice-looking woman sitting there.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember the first words, but her first words were an English accent, And that did it.
That sold him. All I have to do is talk English. No, and then we just, he said, may I sit there? Not quite so polite as that, but he
Yeah.
did ask if he could join me, and we talked. And then
We ended up having coffee.
I think we set up a date to
Yeah.
get in touch. I left him my phone number.
Yeah.
And that's when he called back and said he was a raging Anglophile and would like to see me again. He left this message having no idea what a raging Anglophile.
I was such a fast worker.
So in years to come, we'll know that we were blessed by our time spent way out west. By our time spent way out west.
Ooh, look at all these. This is amazing selection. Next, please.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, it is. And again, we're saying that this work that we're looking at, all of this work is, all of the figure drawings are 1950s, 1960s, but we can't exactly place them. We don't know for sure.
I really think you'd want to shoot each and every one of these.
Well, you said you didn't think I would want to.
I didn't think so, no.
Well, I do.
All right, so much for these.
I'm telling you so you can understand. I crossed out, I joined in ampersand. So you're free to cheat and steal again. With some masochist who likes a life of pain. I thought that we had some.
We are now in the parking lot of the Y.
And why are we coming here?
We're coming here to show you where Marion and I work out when we come 3 mornings a week.
Right, so we're at the gym
We're at the gym.
of the YMCA,
Right.
which you call the Y.
That's right.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. Let's go.
You're most welcome. So essentially there are 2 kinds of disciplines. There is the fitness center, which we're going into now, where I go and you do your own thing,
Yeah.
which has weights and exercise machines and so on. And then on another floor, there are the classes where Marion goes. We'll just take a quick look downstairs at the classes,
Okay.
so
Well,
you know they exist.
yeah. Well, it depends because I can't. You know, people probably don't want to be filmed. Thank you. You need to ask her.
Oh, is she here?
I don't
Let me
know.
take a look. Go ahead.
Okay. I meant to be filmed.
Rocky, you don't understand. I've already done this stuff. I'm tired.
How long
He
have
does
you...
this to me all the time. I missed seeing you yesterday.
That's because we weren't here.
Nate said you were here.
Nate was here?
Hey, Shirley, here comes trouble.
Can I film you? Is it okay?
Uh-oh.
Who's
This
this?
must be Nate.
Who's this? Is this...
That's his buddy
Nate?
Nate.
Nate?
Yes, it is.
This is Nate. I've heard loads about you, Nate.
Shirley, God bless you.
Who's this? I'm filming. Do you mind me filming you? No, come in. Because I'm very interested in art. and Rocky is a great artist.
Oh, he's Rocky to you. Okay.
No, he's not. He's Fred to me, actually. I've been calling you Fred, but I'm calling you Rocky because everybody... I said Rocky because I thought everybody at the gym calls you Rocky. Oh, yeah.
Guess who gave me this T-shirt?
Who gave you the T-shirt?
Wow, he's a person.
That was it.
It says the great, the great rock star. Anyway, Marion is worrying about you. She's going to wonder where you are. I need to see what you do. Are you his trainer?
While you've been in America, have you met any Trump supporters?
That's right. He's his
No, I haven't.
Oh, really? What's your name?
My name's Shirley.
Shirley.
What's your name?
Shirley, my name is EJ. Some call me Ed. My mom's name is Shirley, by the way.
He's a very nice fellow on the outside, but on the inside, he's what you wanted to meet. No, she wanted
Oh, a Trump supporter.
No, I didn't. That was your idea. I
You
never
want to
said
meet
that.
one? This
No.
guy over here.
Rocky,
Radical pastors.
I never said that. That was your
I
idea.
said it.
How do you like America?
I like it very much. I like it.
We're full of all kinds of issues today.
Yeah.
Crazy politicians on both sides are ruining our country.
Yes. That's what.
I think that's something we all can agree on.
Why did Boris Johnson quit?
He didn't quit. He stepped on himself too many times. He's a hypocrite.
Oh, his hair fell out.
No, his hair didn't fall out. His hair got messy. He was in the wind tunnel too long.
Oh, okay.
Right? It was a pleasure meeting you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Hey, so we're praying for the Queen also.
What are you saying about the
We're
Queen?
praying for the Queen. Her health is of concern these days.
Yes, it is. You're praying for
It's just all over the television.
You're praying for Who's this?
She's another Trump. This is what she does.
And who's this? Oh, you're back again.
This is the woman Rocky's been fooling around with on the side.
This is my friend Nate. He just got back from bomb school.
Sorry, Anderson, I literally just got
I know you have a lot of information.
Just got a statement from, it's a statement from the King on the Queen's death. Imagine what it's like to write these words. The death of my beloved mother, Her Majesty the Queen, is a moment of the greatest sadness for me and all members of my family. We mourn profoundly the passing of a cherished sovereign and a much-loved mother. I know the loss will be deeply felt throughout the country, the realms and the Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world. During this period of mourning and change, my family and I will be comforted and sustained by our knowledge of the respect and deep affection in which the Queen was so widely held. So that's a statement from the new King of the United Kingdom.
You talk about this incident, you recognise that somebody who didn't have the same training as you produced something that had something.
She came up with an expression of the figure.
It reminds me that you also felt the same about Marion's drawing. You looked at that and you thought it was good, and that would be described as an abstract figure drawing, an approximation, but from that you were inspired to make that sculpture. Would you agree that you don't necessarily hold firmly to that view that artists must be classically trained?
I do. I hold firmly to the process which I went through.
Yes.
The classical training process.
Okay.
Because you learn so much more that way. You have stored enough in that to last the rest of your life, and sometime, if you've been doing it in your 20s, sometimes in your 60s, you suddenly realize, oh, that's what it is, and a whole other direction develops.
The academic approach is you learn it, you have to learn it a particular way, and then you can play around with it.
learning in a particular way is not like learning the principles of geometry or trigonometry. Learning means you're vitally interested in what you're doing. I'm not just talking about the figure, I'm talking about life.
I fully understand what you're saying about being classically trained, but if you were in front of a group of young artists, I don't think you'd be doing justice to yourself if you didn't also include explaining that you have recognised in your lifetime that sometimes people will produce creative work that is almost like a one-off and that they don't pursue it, but you recognise that it's possible.
Let me tell you what the directors of music and art told the students, and especially the graduating classes. They said, we don't you to be professional musicians, all of you. Some of you will, some of you won't. We don't expect you to be artists. Some of you will, some of you don't. What do you expect of you, and you will have expected of yourself, that your background in art and music in high school, if you don't take it up as a profession, will broaden your outlook for the rest of your life, will enrich your outlook for the rest of your life. It was recognized, whether it was said or not said, that not everybody can be professional artists and not everybody can be professional musicians. It's easier to look at musicians because some of the really good players end up not as necessarily as soloists.
It was at high school that the directors said to these students, to these 18-year-olds,
right.
Yeah, when they left high school, basically saying that art and music and creativity, whether you choose to do it professionally or not, whether you choose to do it,
will enrich the rest of your life.
Enrich the rest of your life. Amen to that. We're going in Dunkin' Donuts.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot you're a gentleman. Right, thank you.
She's here again.
Is it all right? Is it?
Yeah.
Is everybody all right being filmed? Yeah. Oh no, it's all right. So do I. So what I want to know is.
Oh, okay. Nate, shut up.
You said, Nate, you said about Americans being fat, right? But
I never said anything like that.
You did. You said, look at all the donuts. We're at Dunkin'
Look at Dave. He's a big
Donuts.
Trump supporter here.
I know.
Yeah, you can tell because his head is flat.
He is not a Trump supporter.
Yes, he is.
No, but we have. I am interested in this, right? We have got some Trump supporters at this table, haven't we? Hands up, the Trump supporters. Yeah. And Nate.
Not me.
Dana too.
And but you all stay friends, don't you, Marion?
No, they're not very bright.
They're not very bright.
They are our friends. That's one of the reasons we're here today.
So everybody meets here after the gym.
On Friday.
I'm not being funny, but doesn't that undo all the good work?
No, just coffee.
You don't eat the donuts?
No, here's a dirty old man right there. Yeah, there's a dirty
Who's
old
this?
man for you.
Can I film you? Is it okay? Okay.
That's a genuine
What's your
American
name?
dirty old man.
Are you Tony? Yeah, I'm filming because I'm making a film.
Okay. All right. Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Where are you from?
I'm from London, England.
London. Oh my goodness. Your queen just died.
I know.
That's a shame.
It is.
We're all mourning her.
Yeah.
She was the longest reigning queen in history.
That's where you arrived from, across the way.
What was your first impression of me?
First I saw the suitcase
I
coming.
was going to say.
And then
That's what I thought. Did you see a massive suitcase with like a London logo on it, and then a woman fall out behind it?
That's what we saw first.
It's been the most lovely visit, I have to say. Very.
I've had the time of my life, literally.
And I can't believe we've only known each other for a week.
I know. I don't think anyone can believe that.
And not everybody, can you get someone to come stay with you, does a bit of cleaning at the same time?
Oh yes, I
They-
didn't do much, did I?
You did.
Washed a couple of
dishes,
plates.
You did the dust of the sculptures.
Oh, I did dust the sculptures,
You
there
did.
is that.
In all honesty, it's been a lovely visit. It's lovely knowing you, and I feel like
Yeah.
I've known you for a long time.
Me too. I feel
Yeah,
it's,
we really hit it off.
We-
Especially you two girls. You really
Yeah.
hit it off.
we hit it off.
And you two did a lot of talking, a little bit nervy at times, sort of.
Yeah,
When
we've laughed, we've cried,
Yeah.
we've used foul language. But that's just Marion I'm talking about.
Don't go back and tell my grandchildren what she says in the back. I don't say.
What happened in the car when
We almost got
when-
killed.
when Fred missed the turning into the driveway is going to stay in the car. No
That
one needs to know
justified
about that.
Marion's-
Train approaching. Please remain behind the yellow safety
Stay
strip.
back.
But I said to you before, but I don't know if this is a bit
Train approaching.
big-headed of me to say
Behind the
this.
yellow safety strip.
And you're just managing to do that.
But I did say I felt at times that me. Oh, hang on, we've got oh, there's a train coming. That we had a creative meeting of minds, Fred. Do you agree? Quickly say it before the train comes.
We have a creative meeting of minds.
Do you agree?
I agree.
Hooray!
'Cause you stole my day. 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 You stole my You stole my You stole my Tripping over your glass, rolling onto the grass and spilling all of your beer. Was a great way to make the acquaintance that day of the craziest girl of the year.
And does my ass look alright?
No, it blends in all black.
It doesn't look too big.
No.
You want me to try and get the cobwebs, don't you?
The making of me in a very intriguing affair. Is it too soon to shoot for the moon when there's nowhere else to aim? Just carry on with the tune. So we're laughing and drinking and dancing. I'm thinking I must have done something right, which is so rare for me that no one believes all the stuff that went on that night.
What do you think of the Apple Pencil and the iPad?
I think my steady hand is no longer steady.
I disagree.
Is it too soon to shoot for the moon when there's nowhere else to aim? Just carry on with the tune.
Okay, I'm just filming Fred's day.
I like talking to Fred in the morning.
Oh, that's good.
Keeps me going.
Every now and then I hear that sweet refrain falling like rain. wash away my pain. Carry on with the tune.
And apparently I did a deep inhale of that strong shit that the guy gave me. And they had to carry me upstairs. I lay there, I could not move my head because the earth turned around me.
And this was about 10 or 12 years ago, wasn't it? Like, this is not in your youth you're talking about, are you? You're talking about 10 or 12 years ago.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
And poor Marion, she thought you were going to die.
Oh, poor everybody thought that.
No,
was
Fred,
gonna
poor
die.
me. I had to sleep next to you.
Now there's nothing left to do but carry on with the tune.
Use your creative thing to decide whether you want to walk around us a bit. If we're moving around, whether you want to. Do you know what I mean?
No, there's nothing embellished about Billy.
Marion thinks that what they've said is not far off, but I'm wondering, he must have had some kind of
Oh, he had
weird
gastric
eating habit.
disorder.
I was going to say, we're talking gastric disorder.